Okay, so once more, good evening, everyone, and welcome to CAD Drafting with ActCAD. And before we begin, let me invite you to those who are into building information modeling, inviting you to join us in BIM Philippines. Shout out to our friends in Junior Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers, to our partner student organizations, and PSME, Paranaque chapter. If you're into digital creativity like Adobe softwares, inviting you to join us in Digital Creatives Philippines. Shout out to our friends in Wacom, User Group Philippines. Okay, so without further ado, uh, joining us this evening and to inform us what CAD drafting with ActCAD is. Let's give a warm welcome to Murali Krishna Mutyala. Hi, Murali.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, yep. I guess let's warm things up for our audience to be familiarized with you. First question, probably, where are you currently located?
So we are located in Andhra Pradesh, India. So we have our
Okay,
development center and the technical support center in India right now.
awesome. And yeah, actually, there's a new. We are Philippines is hampered by COVID. Curious to know what's the status of COVID in your place in India.
Okay, situation is very much normal in India. Most of the people got vaccinated, and several million people got two doses of vaccination, and remaining people, almost all of them, got first dose of vaccination. So situation is very good right now. All offices are working. Everything is
Awesome.
functioning right now. We are also in office.
But how about the classes for the students? Are they all
Yes,
still
yes.
online or face to face now?
No, no, no. Mostly colleges are started. Colleges have started. Students are attending physical classes, but still
Oh,
maintaining the social distancing and taking a lot of precautions.
okay. So, curious to know what was your degree way back in college? Are you also an engineer?
Yes, yes. Basically, I I'm having two degrees in engineering. One
Wow.
is degree in metallurgy, that is from Indian Institute of Metals, Kolkata. And after that, I did my degree in mechanical engineering, chartered engineer mechanical from the Institution of Engineers, India, which was a very, very old institute established in 1920. And after that, I also did my master's degree in mechanical engineering from Central Institute of Tool Design, that is also in India.
What
And I, yeah, okay, go ahead.
yep, what inspired you to be a mechanical engineer?
We are always passionate about design and engineering and creating new products. So, though we are from mechanical background, so we have created some software products like this ActCAD, and we are now established in almost 89 countries.
Awesome. So, yep, if you have something to share, you may click on the share screen.
Okay, sure. So maybe we can start the presentation now.
Yep.
Okay, all the participants, thank you very much for participating in this event. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. So right now I shared my screen, entire screen, so you're able to see my ActCAD session. So
Loading.
here,
Yep. Seeing it now.
okay. So I want to briefly explain about CAD software, the computer-aided design. I need not explain anything to you. Most of you are familiar with computer-aided design. But way back in 1960s, 70s, most of the companies, they used to do the drafting manually. But from 1980 onwards, computers were introduced, and from 1990 onwards, computers are available even at personal level, like a personal computer started. And most of the companies and individual designers, they started using CAD for all their design applications. And earlier, when I started my career with automotive industry, that is Tata Motors, I started my career with drafting board, designing the drawings and designs on the big drafting machines we used to operate. We used to log them at desired angle, and using a lot of engineering drafting devices like French curves, compasses, templates, protractors, dividers, and using these stencil pens and getting the drawing. So a lot of manual process was there in the early 90s. But from second half of 90s, since 1995 onwards, a lot of CAD softwares came into picture. And our company, our original group, OMC Computers, we started developing a CAD software in early 90s. It was called PowerCAD Draft, which was a DXF based CAD software, and that we started selling to many companies in India, especially to government establishments, and it was giving some competition to AutoCAD in India that time. But as you are all familiar with the DXF file formats, the file sizes are very high, and the data is not encrypted, or it is not in binary format, so the data is unsecure, and the file sizes are high, and the opening and closing of these drawings also used to take a lot of time. So in this development, IntelliCAD Technology Consortium was first formed in 1999 as a non-profit organization, which is basically driven by members. The other organization is Open Design Alliance. Open Design Alliance is basically responsible for creating these DWG libraries, DWG DXF, and some other libraries. So only two companies, they can understand the DWG file reading and writing. One is Autodesk, obviously, and the second one is Open Design Alliance. So Open Design Alliance, which is popularly known as ODA, it is also a member-driven non-profit organization established in USA, and IntelliCAD Technology Consortium, this is also another sister concern. Both these groups, earlier they were together. In before 99, both these entities were working together to create a clone of AutoCAD. But after that, Microsoft and other companies like Visio Corporation, they spun off these two entities as, because they don't want to run them as profit-making organizations. So they made both of them as non-profit organizations. So one is Open Design Alliance ODA, and another one is IntelliCAD Technology Consortium. So today, ODA is mainly responsible for creating the libraries to perform various operations on DWG and DXF file formats. And IntelliCAD Technology Consortium takes those libraries and create the interface like this one, what you are seeing on the screen right now, and writing all the commands which will work very much similar to other CAD softwares, like maybe AutoCAD. That is the basic role of ITC. So we stopped development of our PowerCAD Draft, which was a DXF based CAD software, and we started associated with, we were observing the developments in this CAD/CAM segment by these two organizations. And a few products were started early in 99, and maybe the original versions of IntelliCAD were very much unstable, and maybe a lot of improvements were happening in each year. So in 2006, we have registered our new company, that is Jaitra Technology Solutions Private Limited in India. And we were closely monitoring, and we have taken all our old codes, and we have separated some of the important comments from the old repository what we had in early 90s. Then we started making some parallel development which will work on top of this IntelliCAD core engine as IRX plugins or IRX C++ programs. So in 2015, we were ready with our codes and logics and licensing technologies and everything. And we started our association with IntelliCAD Technology Consortium, launched our first version in 2015, that is ActCAD 2015. And this is the new brand name we have registered. And ActCAD now supports both DWG and DXF file formats. So if you are seeing at this one, we support almost all the file formats of DWG and DXF way back from release 2.5, which was in early 1980s. That time DWG format was not there. So these are all DXF formats. And the first time in R13, DWG was introduced, and then R14, 2004, 7, 10, 13. And the most latest specification of DWG is 2018, though many people call it as DWG 2022, but the official specification of DWG is 2018. So our software supports all the file formats, not only DXF, DWG, and in DXF also both binary format as well as ASCII format. So like that, we became a DWG based CAD software using DWG libraries from ODA and the basic CAD engine from IntelliCAD. And on top of these two technologies, we build our own programs and a lot of other commands, lot of productivity tools, lot of enhancements and add-ons like this, what you are seeing on the screen. And a lot of changes to the interface, these icons, these are all the value additions from our company. So this is the basic introduction about our organization and the development and evaluation of the CAD softwares. And since then, every year we have been releasing our new versions like 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and the latest version is 2022. And we always work very closely with IntelliCAD because we are one of the royalty-free member and very active in terms of development and reporting the bugs and part of the release committee and working on quality assurances, implementing a lot of regression technologies, testing tools, both in-house as well as associating with ITC. We have been developing the product, and today ActCAD is being used by customers in almost 89 countries. Now, coming back to our original content, the topics, CAD, as I need not mention the advantages. Nowadays, practically you won't see any drafting machines in any company, and almost all companies, individuals, consultants, practitioners, everyone using computer-aided design to design their creations, drawings, 2D or 3D or anything. Everything they're using, even for manufacturing, analysis, a lot of advances happened in the CAD/CAM industry. So now coming back to the categories. Okay, now at the beginning of this presentation, we have heard of a couple of other softwares also, like SolidWorks or Unigraphics, Ideas, CATIA, Revit. A lot of other softwares are available. So now I am talking because mostly from mechanical engineering point of view, the CAD softwares are categorized into three: the low-range software, mid-range software, and high-range softwares. What is low-range? Low-range, mid-range, high-range. It all depends on the capabilities of the software about the mathematical equation solving. For example, if you take softwares like ActCAD, AutoCAD, and all the equivalent CAD softwares, they can solve up to second-degree polynomial expressions. For example, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Such kind of equations, and the geometries possible with such expressions can be solved by these softwares, and that is the capability of the software. Next one is mid-range software. They can solve up to third-degree mathematical equations, like going up to ax cube okay, then the equations will become more complicated, and such type of geometry also can be solved by such softwares, and the examples are Solid Edge, SolidWorks, CAD S5, those type of softwares. Creo, earlier it was a Pro Engineer, and now they call it as Creo. So like these softwares are having mid-range geometric solving capabilities. And when we come to the high-end software, which can solve up to fifth degree mathematical expressions like polynomial equations, the most popular softwares are like Unigraphics NX, which is from Siemens, and CATIA, which is from Dassault Systèmes. And IDS was another software, but it was acquired by EDS and later on merged to UGS Corporation. And finally, both those products like Unigraphics and IDS, they merged together and they named it as NX. And after that, in 2007, that product and the company, along with the Team Center, it was acquired by Siemens. So these are the now leading CAD softwares, especially in top-end mechanical engineering and aerospace designs, where the surface geometry is very complicated. You need to do a lot of styling, shape studios, and all those things. You need to go for the high-range CAD software. Now, though I am also from mechanical engineering background, and I worked almost in India and USA for a long time in automotive design segment. But the thing is, though I worked heavily on these high-end softwares like CATIA and Unigraphics NX, but when we ventured into business, then we realized that still 80% of the CAD users, more than 80% users, are still using products like AutoCAD in the low range segment. Even the small businesses, medium businesses, they're all using this one. So that is the reason we decided to enter into this segment where the user base is very large, and competition is also reasonable compared to these high-end mechanical softwares. So that is the reason we decided to enter into this CAD, low-end CAD segment business, and it helped us to reach masses and to reach many countries and government establishments, educational institutes, and professional associations. So that was the explanation about the categories of software. And now coming back to the DWG file format, as I mentioned before, it was started in R13, and after that, lot of developments happened because it was the DWG format was originally started by some other company, and Autodesk has acquired that company, and after that they took the ownership of that license. So here on our website, this is actcad.com, this is our website. Here we have provided an interesting link, maybe at a later point. If you are interested, you can go to the footer section and click on this label. Here we have explained briefly about all the developments about the DWG and how it is legal to use this DWG, and history of the DWG formats. There is a link of Wikipedia articles. And also please note, no file extension can be patented or trademarked by any company. For example, for the sake of discussion, if you have designed some drawing or something, the design is more important, and that design you are storing it either in DWG format or .prt format or STEP format, IGS format, or Parasolid. There could be a lot of file formats available. Whatever may be the file format, the content in that file belongs to the creator. If you are the designer, you own that design. But for your convenience, for the convenience of using computers and systems, you are saving this data in one of these file formats, whether it is SLDPRT or .prt, .dwg, whatever may be the file format. So nobody can really claim the ownership on that particular file. It is obviously a file which is residing in your computer or in your office or in your company. Nobody can come and claim that this is my file and this is this I am going to take because I have created a specification for this DWG. No, that is not acceptable. And a lot of legal battles happened between Open Design Alliance and the other companies. But all the courts favored. They said that no file format can be copyrighted. That is the reason even today, if you see Microsoft Office, the file formats like .doc, .xls, .xlsx, .ppt. There are a lot of open source tools available like OpenOffice or LibreOffice. So such type of tools available, and again they are having the ability to read and write these file formats. So which is legally not a constraint. But what is problem if someone is copying the source code of some other company? That is a problem. But see, basically, if you take these CAD software, most of these logics are mathematics. Whether we create a line program or our competitor can create a line program. Obviously, we have to use the same logics of straight line, y equal to mx plus c. So nobody can change these mathematical principles, but only the way they are writing their codes, the way we are writing our codes, or someone else is writing the codes. Maybe they could be different, the logics could be different, the language what we use to develop these programs could be different, but ultimately that creates the impact in the market, like which is faster, which is lightweight, which is more reliable, which is giving consistent result, which file formats are more compact. So that is the way these software companies compete in the market. Now, if you see, the DWG file specification is openly published by Open Design Alliance on their website, and they have not kept it any secret. If anyone is having capability to understand the file structure and the tables, how they create inside the drawing file and everything, it is available. And the DXF is also open file format, which is also published by companies like Autodesk and Open Design Alliance, because there are no encryptions, as I mentioned in the beginning, no encryptions available in DXF formats. So that is the reason our software is having Open Design Alliance, which is vital to read and write the DWG formats. And we also use IntelliCAD engine and their platform to use the interface. And what are the gaps we are finding with respect to the commercial software? That's what we do inside ActCAD in our development center. We do those developments and we try to plug in the gaps and a lot of custom commands, add-on tools, productivity tools we implement in the software. So that is briefly about us. And now I am going to the session 2 about the ActCAD interface. Now if you see here, this is the overall interface of the software. I am right clicking the menu, and here you are having the option to enable menu bar also. So either you can switch to menu bar completely. So now you are able to see only this thing, and you can also see here between the workspaces like ActCAD Classic, Drafting and Annotation, 3D Modeling, View and Markup. So now if I'm switching it to ActCAD Classic, this is the old style of CAD software, which is having all the menus similar to your earlier versions of CAD. Now, most of the softwares, they switch it to this ribbon style interface, like this one. Okay, I'm typing a command reset UI because I made some changes to this one. Okay, now all the ribbons and the panels tabs came in here. Now I also have the provision to show the menu bar. So if somebody is comfortable with menus, so you can enable both. So you are having the menus as well as the ribbon tabs. Now I wanted to briefly mention about these menus first. So these menus are logically designed because ActCAD is having more than 1500 commands and nearly 3000 system variables in it. So how to remember all these commands and the system variables in this? So there has to be some logical design and logical flow of the application, just like any other software. So here, all the options related to file, they are available in the file menu, like file open, create new sheet set manager, closing file, saving as, importing from other file formats, exporting from ActCAD to other file formats, printing and plotting related stuff, auditing and e-transmitting, publishing the drawings, all the information related to or handling files will be available under this file menu. Next one is editing. As you see, editing is again about these basic editing operations at the file level. When I'm saying at the file level means the database, the DWG database level, like you have this cut, copy, paste, okay, copy, paste. So it is a kind of, it is not related to one particular entity, but as a set of entities or group of entities, you can perform these operations. And like pasting from external entities or copying from here and pasting into Office applications, or copying from some other else, or maybe uh, some other like some Excel, if you want to copy and paste special as here and then pasting it here. All these operations, like any other standard Windows application, the edit menu, you will be able to find those options. Next one is view. View is related to how your drawing is viewed in this CAD software. So for example, if you want to like regen, redraw all, zoom in, zoom out, zoom extends, dynamic zoom, right? Panning operations, viewports, 3D orbits. Like for example, if you want to create and rotate this workspace in 3D environment. So how I'm going to view my graphics window or my entities are these things. So I will be able to see them. Similarly, if you go here, you will be able to see all the standard views. Like you can see the visual styles like wireframe model, conceptual. These are all mostly applicable for 3D models, and applying lightings and renderings, applying materials, all the options are available here. Similarly, 3D views, this is more important. So if you want to migrate to any orthographic projections or orthographic, right now I rotated my screen to some level, but again, this command brings me to the front level. Or again, you can also go to this menu, 3D views, and if I'm orienting to front view, then my coordinates change and this is the front view of this workspace. Like orienting from any view to any view, or even isometric view, dimetric view, trimetric views, all these options are available. For the time being, I'm setting it back to the top view. So how you are going to view this workspace, the entire drawing, how you are going to view this, how you are going to orient it, rotate it, zoom it, pan it, all these operations related to viewing are provided under the view menu. Not only this, see, even the ribbons are also mentioned in the similar fashion, like home, edit, draw, insert, view, layout, developer, settings, output, tools. So this is also more or less same thing. Now I'm coming back to the insert menu. Insert menu means if you want to insert any external object or external entity into your drawing, for example, a block, you are having some external blocks. If you want to insert that block, or maybe you have part of the drawing itself is having several blocks, and if you want to reinsert that block, you are using this one. So I will explain little later what is block, what is XREF and all. Similarly, if you want to insert some of these BIM files like Revit file as an underlay, IFC file as an underlay, RVA file as an underlay, that also you can do. And similarly, PDF overlays, BWF overlays, okay, design web format, and attaching point clouds. Anything if you want to, any external objects, if you want to embed into this one or insert into the current drawing or current document or current database, you can use this insert menu and all such operations you will be able. Similarly, inserting some external images, inserting maps, geolocation features, setting locations, so inserting layouts. This is OLE object. So if you want to insert external objects like Adobe drawings, Excel files, PowerPoint files, right, open documents, Word pads, all those things, PDF files, if you want to insert into this document, the current document, you can use OLE features. So all those things are available because you are inserting external objects into the drawing. That is the reason we have carefully provided them under the insert menu. Now, format. Even without looking at the menu, you will be able to understand what is formatting. Formatting means, for example, if you are doing a manual drawing in your engineering college with the drawing sheet and paper, how do you do? First, you take the drawing sheet, fit it onto the board, and first create the borders, and then inserting the template, creating the title block, and allocating the names, margins, and all that stuff. Means basically you are creating the your your workspace ready or creating a format so that your design will be easy, and mostly you can do that. So here, because it is a digital document, so here you have something called layer manager, layer tools, managing colors, line types, line weights, because these are all related to the format. I can create a line, but whether I need it as a solid line or hidden line, dashed line, center line, I will be able to put this one. Similarly, text styles manager, most of the styles, why we use styles, that is very important. It is very detailed subject, but very briefly I will mention because we have time limitation here. In the drawing, if I'm having 1000 text entities or 2000 dimension entities, how I want to control the style of all these entities as a kind of global variable or global setting. So I can create any number of text styles in this drawing, and I can quickly modify, and in one go I can select all text entities and apply this format. So I need not go back and select each 1000 entities and change their color or font or text height. I need not do everything for each and every entity. Similarly, once a particular style is applied to these dimensions or a set of dimensions, you can use multiple layers, multiple textiles, multiple dimension styles, multiple point styles, several table styles. All these things are possible. There is no limitation. There are no such restrictions. Depending upon the complexity of your drawing, you can create n number of dimension styles. And again, the advantage is in the dimension styles, you can set lot of preferences, how you want arrowheads, how you want the types, what kind of text you want, what font you want, or what kind of text style again you want to apply. A particular text style you want to apply to the drawing style, you can do. Similarly, colors, extension lines, primary units, alternate units, everything. It is a very comprehensive dialog box. You can set all the properties of a dimension entity in one go, and you can save it here. And once you make save here, all the dimensions, as I mentioned before, all 2000 dimensions in your drawing, all the changes will reflect in those dimensions. Similarly, if you want to change from one dimension style to other dimension style, again, it is very simple. You come back and then create one more dimension style, and you change some settings or more settings, or maybe all settings you change, and you can apply. So that way, all these styles, as I mentioned before, they act like global settings to your drawing, and they reside inside your drawing database. They are part of the drawing database. If you are creating 10 dimension styles, they are part of your drawing file. In this case, drawing1.dwg, whatever is saved here. So whether you are using this drawing here or you are sending it to someone else, your customer, your friend, or your vendor, or your supplier, then all these styles also will be transmitted along with the drawing file. So they are not staying outside the database. All these styles, they are part of the database. So that's the reason anyone can open this style again in either ActCAD or maybe any other software, let's say AutoCAD. They can edit the styles there, or again they can modify, or again if they make any changes, again we identify them here because the database is same. Basically, we are also reading from same DWG database. They are also reading from the same DWG database. So like that, everything related to formatting of your entities, or the layers, or the layouts, colors, line types, line weights, everything. How you want to represent your drawings in your, how you are going to represent your entities in a given drawing, you are going to show them under the. You can find such commands easily on the format menu. Now tools, as the name implies, these are the additional tools to get more information from the drawing or to perform some operations on the drawing. For example, like we have ActCAD Explorer, I will explain little later. How many layers are there? How many blocks are used in this? How many line types are used? How many textiles are used? And similarly, doing some quick spelling checking inside your drawing. Selections, draw orders, changing the levels, sending it back, front, up. Okay, like settings, entity snaps. These are very, very important and popular. Like what kind of snaps you are going to enable for this particular drawing. Whether you want automatically the software should recognize endpoints, midpoints, perpendicularity, tangency, quadrant points. So they are all related to your particular drawing, and these are all the tools which will help your drafting and design process. Similarly, inquiring, like finding the area, distance, total length, mass properties, center of gravity, right? If for a particular point, what are the coordinates, and the entity data, copying one entity data and moving to some other entity data. Similarly, loading some external applications, like this is our upload command. So you can load any types of external programs like IRX programs, DLLs, list programs. Okay, all these files are available into this thing. So the next one is draw toolbar. So these are all the anything related to using these additional tools, external tools, or inbuilt tools like area measurement, geometric properties measurement. They're all available under the tools menu. So why I'm explaining all these things is, if you know these how we designed, tomorrow if you want to do some copy paste, immediately you will go and find it here. That will help you. For example, if you want to insert a block into the drawing, then you need not search anywhere. Simply go to the insert and block or XREF or image or OLE, because you want to insert something into this drawing. That how, if you remember the logical flow of this interface design, it will be easy for you. Now draw the menu itself is showing. Now this is the actual menu where you will be creating a lot of entities, drawings, a lot of new creations like creating arcs, circles, splines, infinite lines, construction lines, helix, polylines, wipeouts, text, tables, multi-line text, revision clouds, anything you want to draw in your drawing. So this is the actual menu where you are really creating your entities, and the combination of these entities will become some meaningful engineering projection or the view, engineering view, and that represents whether it is mechanical drawing, circuit drawing, architectural drawing, civil drawing. It could be anything. So anything you can create with these primitive entities. When I said primitive entities, any complicated entity you can make with line, arc, circle, and to some extent the spline, and rest everything is a combination of these things. Ray is nothing but a line segment, but line segment means it is having the limited length, the start point and end point. But when you talk about ray, start point is there, but there is no end point. It is infinite. And when I'm talking about infinite line, again it is straight line. It is obeying the straight line equation, but the start point is infinite and end point is also infinite. And when we talk about polyline is nothing but it is the combination of lines, arcs. You can explode anytime, or you can join them back as a polyline. So as one entity, you will be able to manage them. Similarly, multi-line is combination of multiple lines you are joining. So using these simple entities, whether 2D or 3D, you will be able to create these sections. Similarly, the hatch is another entity. Hatch is nothing but hatch is not a separate entity. It is combination of lines, circles, and all. You can always explode this. You can explode the hatch object, you can explode dimensions, and even if you transmit them to the other tools like PDF and all these things will be automatically exploded, because there is no such entity called hatch in mathematics. But in engineering drawing, there is a meaning to this hatch, color gradient or color transitions. So we have created the entities and we do these color fills as required for the drawing representation and showing the presentation drawings. So that is what is available under this draw menu, including 2D modeling and 3D. And now if I'm changing it to the 3D modeling namespace, so like that you can create a lot of namespaces. So here now I'm having the solids editing options, meshes, 3D converting options, and the file import and export options. Like that we have many more options. But now again I'm coming back to the drafting and annotation workspace, which you can change from here, or you can also change from here by right clicking. You can go to this 3D modeling or classic workspace. Now dimensions, as dimensions are very vital in engineering drawing, we have created a separate menu with various types of dimensions like linear, aligned, angular, ordinate dimensions, radius, center marks, tolerances, geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, and again managing these dimensions. Like one more link, Though basically it is the same link, like how I have shown on the under the format menu, but again this is available under the styles manager, saving styles, restoring. So everything related to your dimensions, or any kind of dimensions, baseline dimensions, continuous dimensions, ordinate dimensions, or tolerated dimensions, size tolerances, geometric tolerances, everything is available under this menu. Now, modify. As the name indicates, if you want to modify any of your entities, one or more of these entities, you will find those options here, like getting the properties palette, matching properties from one entity to other entities, like creating groups, exploding groups, ungrouping them, and deleting, copy, clone, modify, mirroring, alignment. Okay, array we also support associative arrays, rectangular array, polar array, path array, all these options. Whatever may be the modifications you want to do these entities. Similarly, trimming entities, extending them, breaking them, joining, applying chamfers, fillets, editing of table, all those entity modifications. When I said edit, this is at the file level. When I'm talking about modify menu, these are at the entity level. I hope you're understanding the difference. Now, this express tools, it is combination of all these things which are most widely and most frequently used. We grouped them as express tools so that you can access them quickly from this, like most arc align text and all that stuff. And add-ons, these are very much specific to ActCAD. I will spend only 2-3 minutes on this. So these are like opening PDF and directly editing, converting a vector PDF directly to DXF. Similarly, using our block library, if I want to insert any standard symbols from this, you can directly insert that into your drawing, and you can adjust the X scale, Y scale, as well as the rotation. Now, if you go back, your symbol is inserted into the drawing as a block. Like that, ActCAD comes with over 5,000 inbuilt blocks in it. Similarly, unit converter, auditing drawings, extract block attributes to an Excel sheet, importing point data from CSV or Excel files, okay, and text data if you want to import from CSV, changing numeric text values, okay, capturing the points to Excel. Like that, lot of advanced options are available. And when you start your trial, we will give you the free videos module where you can see the importance of all these utilities. Like whole table is very important for mechanical. Similarly, exporting table to an Excel sheet, or importing a table data from Excel sheet. And this month we are having, this month means in December, we will be having one more release, and we are making a lot of improvements with the Excel integration to the CAD format. Like that, these add-ons are available. And window, like any other Windows application, like close, you can open multiple things. Like here I have start page, here I have the drawing. Like that, I can have multiple drawings. You can close them, or close all, cascading them, tile them horizontally, or tile them vertically. All these options, like arrange like icons if you have more documents open. But right now I have only one this thing. So now if I want to make my start page active, I can do this. And again in the window, I am disabling the cascading options. So now you can switch these options using these window tools. And finally, help menu. As you all understand, any software, it will have the complete help, developer help, user guide, tip of the days, our websites, check for any new version available for this product on our server. If you want to send any feedback to us, benchmarking graphics, and about ActCAD, which version you are using at present. So 10.1 is the latest release of IntelliCAD, and 750 is the most latest version available. Like every month we will be doing a lot of releases and patches, and you need not reinstall or uninstall the software. You simply go to the help menu and click on this check for updates, and it will find if there is a new version available on our server, and automatically it will download and apply the patch to this install version without the need of licensing. So like that, the menus, the ribbon tabs are also carefully designed, like draw 3D, inserting, annotate. The names are slightly different, like layout tab is available here, view is available, developer for developers, programmers who want to record some scripts, writing programs like IRX, C++, VB.NET. If you want to write more programs, you can use all the options here, you can find them. And settings, as I mentioned, like options. For example, if you want to control something like drawing options, drawing limits, drawing settings, workspace settings, like if I'm clicking this thing, what is my default save format? If I always want to save my drawing in 2007, or if I want to save my drawing every 2 minutes, 3 minutes, what are the default file paths for the support paths, templates, hatches, line types, blocks, hatch patterns. So this is also very similar to your other CAD software, but you can set all these options at this level. Now, these options are at the application level. When I mean application is nothing but ActCAD. ActCAD is a software package. It is an application. Whatever the options you are setting here, they are applicable to the software, and whatever the things you are doing at the edit level, they are applicable to the particular document. But whatever the modifications you are doing here, they are applicable to a particular entity. So like that, you need to understand the differences. Like drawing settings, if you want to set the drawing limits or settings, okay, so here also you can specify. There are keyboard shortcuts are also available, like S is the shortcut. Right now you are able to see the drawing settings, like drawing units, again angular settings, linear settings, UCS settings, coordinate inputs how you want, again snap and grid whether you want to enable them, and entity snaps. What entity snaps we have identified earlier, I have shown you there, but again the same thing. Now entity selections, whether I want to increase this pick box size or reduce the pick box size, or increase the selection aperture or entity snap representations, and the drawing limits, tracking. So all the settings related to your drawing, you can make them here. Again, these settings are applicable to a particular drawing or the active document which you are using here. So this is the brief overview, and this is called the graphics menu, and these are called toolbars. Toolbars are, you can always move either horizontally or you can keep them here. And if you want to show more, you can always right click here, and here what menus, which menus you want to show, which menus you want to disable. And toolbars, there are so many toolbars available, which one you want to use. If you are always working with images, you can enable that image toolbar and you can keep them here. And if you don't need it, you can close it. So like that, there are so many toolbars available, and this is called tool palettes. Tool palettes. So like again, the most widely used things and most important commands, they're all available here. Similarly, if you click inquiry, tools are available here. If you click view, like as I mentioned before, like front view, top view, side view. Okay, instead of going to the menus, you can click directly here so that you can access those commands. And again, the 3D options, draw orders, changing, inserting walls, doors, windows. So like that, you can also insert more and more tool palettes to your stuff. You can create your own tool palettes. If you are having your popular settings, you can also add them to this one. These are some of the standard symbols. You can directly double click and insert into the drawing. And you can customize these tool palettes also based on the expert level or the advanced options you need. You can customize this tool palette, you can add, you can remove, you can move, and again this is toolbar. And as you see, this is the command prompt. Whatever maybe the inputs you want to give or inquiries you want to give, this is the command prompt. And if you want to see a bigger version, simply press F2, and all those things are available here, all the keyboard shortcuts, function keys. Now you see here, this is the F2. F3 for enabling or disabling entity snaps. Tablet options F4. And isometric cursor, if you want to draw it in isometric mode, simply enable F5 and then your cursor will behave like isometric constructor. And if you want to display the coordinates, like the coordinates are being displayed here. And if you want to enable the grid, the graphics grid, whatever you are seeing on the back end, F7 is the shortcut. And orthogonal, entity snaps. If you want, again, we will provide the settings under the customize menu. Like under the tools, you are having these options. Similarly, customize user interface, customize UA. Here, again, we have all these workspaces, whatever we have defined. You can define your own workspaces, either through this interactive customization dialog, or maybe you can go back to the CUI file which is available in the install directory, and you can make a lot of changes to creating new toolbars, removing some toolbars, inserting some new ribbon tabs, all those things. Similarly, aliases, and these are the keyboard shortcuts, whatever I have explained, like F1, F10, F2. And if you want to make any change, you can always click and you can change it here. Or for F5, if you want to use something else, you can change it. But mostly here, we keep them very much similar to other CAD software, because most of the people, for example, F8 means ortho mode. Ortho mode, they are already habituated in other softwares, and we don't want to give some other shortcut for that one. So that's the reason we are maintaining same F8 kind of stuff here. So like this, you can also create, you can import the settings from other software, you can export the CUI files, like that interactively you can do. And the keyboard shortcuts also I have mentioned, they are all available behind. For example, if I'm seeing here at the beside everything, you have Control plus and Control plus 1, Control plus S. You can create, and everything you can customize in your CUI file, either interactively, and based on your expertise level, you can also go to the CUI file and you can make necessary changes to the CUI file. And we also support CUIX. The encrypted format of CUI also is now supported in ActCAD. You can import if it is created in other softwares. So like that, you can do a lot of customization. And once again, this is the bottom panel. Here it always show the indicator and the message. For example, you see here, if I'm going back to the home menu, here I click line. Now I'm creating line. Now you are able to see dynamically the coordinates of that one. So we also support dynamic screen input, like how we are creating here, and all the options are available here. Now it is showing the current status of this one. For example, if I want to insert a block, now this is the block, I already have it in the database. So now I'm able to repeat it once I get into the same drawing. So now you are able to see the cursor movement and the coordinates here. And this one is cursor mode, whether you want to enable or disable, and the crosshair mode, how you want to show them, and annotation scales, annotative scales. Once you want to plot your drawing of the entities at a different scale with respect to your paper size or plotter size, then you can use the annotative scales, and all the supported annotative scales are available here. Similarly, how they want to be visible, all the settings here. And here, snapping mode, how you want to snap to these entities, enable running snaps or disable running snaps. If you are enabling running snaps, whenever you are keep on clicking on these things, then automatically it will try to snap to the control points. And if you click on the settings, again you will get the snap on grid settings here. And entity snaps, as I mentioned before, like endpoint, start point, whatever is to be default enabled, whether you want to select them all, you want to clear them all, and if you want to show only the major thing. So you can do the settings, and either you can apply or you can cancel. And other things is the dynamic screen mode input. If you want to switch in or switch out. What is dynamic screen mode? For example, if I'm typing, I will be able to, now 112 is there. Now I can directly type the value here. So now that particular line is already, it has taken this thing. Now if I want to type 80, now the line length is automatically taken 80. So this input, dynamically I can input my values on the screen graphics window itself, instead of coming to the command prompt. That is dynamic. Whether if you want to enable or disable, you can do that here. And ortho mode, again F8. If you want, what is F8? If you want to enable, if I'm drawing one line, if the enable shift button also you can use. And you can, if you want to send it either perfect horizontal or perfect vertical, that ortho mode has to be on. For example, if I'm switching this off, it can go into any direction. Okay, now if I'm seeing, now it is going in any angle. So it is not assuming that the nearest snap or the magnet that it should go perfectly horizontal or perfectly vertical. So if you are enabling this ortho mode, like we do it in orthographic projections, that will aid to take the perpendicular lines from the current cursor location. So the next one is the polar tracking. Again, if you want to enable this polar tracking means with respect to the point, if I'm talking the line, okay, like at what angle I wanted to give, like you can snap that value, okay, the value, the angle, whatever you are giving, whether you wanted to send at an increment of 5 degrees or 10 degrees or 6 degrees, you can do that. And as I mentioned earlier, these are all the entity snapes. Either you can go and do it from drawing settings, or you can go it and do it from tools menu, or maybe you can directly do it from this right click. We have given the popular shortcuts here. Either you can enable or disable. Similarly, if you come and sorry. Okay, in the draw menu also all these settings are provided. So this is the example of running snaps. If you are having some problem of picking some entities, you can enable these running snaps. So software is will behave little intelligent and try to capture the snap points from other locations. So the same settings are available from multiple locations, and this is the bottom menu which we are able to access from this here. So this is about line weight display and switch off, entity track, okay, and line weights, whether you want to display line weight or enable or disable. So if the line weight is having 2 mm, then if you enable this, it is displayed in 2 mm. Depending upon your requirement, either you can enable or disable. And as I said, mentioned, this is switching between the workspaces. And this is another thing about our graphic device. So in ActCAD, we support 3 modes, like basic mode and OpenGL mode and OpenGL ES mode. So right now the advanced OpenGL ES to be disabled because still there are some compatibility and stability issues with the OpenGL ES graphics drivers. But the default setting is OpenGL. So to open or to operate ActCAD software, you don't need a dedicated graphics software, but you can whatever the drivers you have, whether it is onboard or dedicated, every computer will be having the OpenGL version, and we need at least a 2.0 version of OpenGL. And if you are having the higher version, it is better. You can have better graphics performance from the software. So like that, you can set this value that GS used device mode, and that is the system variable. And before I'm going to the other topic, I also wanted to show you the most important thing here. As I mentioned, there are a lot of system variables. What is system variable? Maybe most of the users, they may not be aware. There are a lot of variables available inside the drawing database. For example, like a file dia, whether how it should be displayed. Now we are having all these system variables available, and what are their limits. For example, CMD echo, if you are writing, so it is showing that range 0 and 1, whether it should display or it should not display in the drawing prompt. Similarly, if I want to change the pick box, for example, the pick box I have showed you earlier from the dialog. So now if you see, the pick box entity is available here, and what is the current value? I set it to 7. But what is the permitted range? 0 to 50. And what is the default value? 6. So if I want, even I can modify them here. This is the value I can change. But for example, if I am trying to give 99, I will get a warning. So it cannot go beyond the permitted values. And what are these variables? These are nothing but the settings or the preferences or the values which are available inside the drawing box. For example, pick first behavior. Either you want to set to 0 or 1. A lot of advanced CAD users, they are familiar with these system variables. But what I wanted to show is we do have a sysware monitor if you want to quickly find some settings inside ActCAD. For example, somebody want to increase the text quality. So once again, I'm repeating this sysware monitor, and I will type only text. Okay. Now all the system variables related to this one is coming. Okay, what is QText mode, print text out, mtext ed. These variables are very much similar to your AutoCAD. Now here text quality. Text quality, at what quality I want to set the value. 0 and 100. So least value is 0 and maximum value is 100. Similarly, text size. So how you want to define these values and these settings. Otherwise, and all the system variables are part of your drawing. They are saved inside your drawing file. And if you change this value here and save the drawing, this value is part of the drawing. And if you take and open it in some other ActCAD version or some other competitor software, the same value will be reflected there. So like that, text style, what is the default style? Whether you always want to keep standard or something else, because right now this default drawing is having only one drawing style. So like that, you can have n number of operations like related to everything related to this. Either you want to select all, select clear all, related to text, points and everything. These tools are not available even some of these expensive CAD software. And another thing, before I forget, this Explorer is another useful tool which is available in ActCAD. So like text styles, if you are double clicking with text styles, it will show all the available text styles in this drawing. And line types, what are all the line types available and what are all the things they have used. Layers, layer status, okay, and what are all the views we have created and what are all the blocks used in this drawing. So if I'm double clicking this block, it will show up the okay, so it is opening all these things at the bottom. Keep on going here. So maybe I can map them here. So like this, it will open up all the things under the palette. Okay, and how you are going to display them, you can find them here. So like this, now text styles, it opened here. Now you go back. You can also separate them like this. I have taken out from this. Okay, now again, you can dock or auto hide or transparent, or if you want to close, you can close. And again, come back to the Explorer, it is available. And what are the external references available in this drawing? Right now it is showing 0 items are used. What are the current blocks in this? Now you double click, this is the WC plans. Okay, so how you are going to orient this one? You have to do the setting, whether you want this Explorer to be horizontal or vertical. But again, copying the block from one drawing to the other drawing, that is also possible. For example, I have created one more drawing here. Now I am coming here from the Explorer, double clicking the block, selecting here, copying, and coming here under this block, I can paste it. Okay, now this block from this drawing, I have easily copied and pasted into this one. Now it is part of this drawing base, database. Now let me go back and insert. Now you see, that is part of your second database also. Okay, whatever is here in the other drawing also. I am going to the Explorer once again. Paste it. Close here. Close here. And again, in this drawing, if you go to insert block, that is already available in this because I already pasted into the database. So like this, even if you are having 20, 30, 40, any number of blocks, from one drawing to other drawing, you can easily copy and paste. Okay, these are, you are pasting them as blocks. It is not only related to blocks, it is related to anything else. Like dimension styles, you can copy paste. Layouts, you can copy paste. Materials, you can copy paste. Groups, you can copy paste. So like that, this ActCAD Explorer is also another powerful tool. And now we also talk about the quickly about model space and layout space. I am closing this drawing. I'm having model space means this is the 3D modeling space, and layout is basically a kind of paper space. So you cannot rotate these views. It is only a 2D representation. And whatever you are seeing here, these are called viewports. Like these are the view boundaries, how I can adjust, and this is the position of the view. So it is nothing to do with the entity what you are drawing. Even if you delete it here, you are only deleting the representation. But if you go back to the model space, that entity is there here. So what is the advantage of this model space and layout space? Now I am having this entity here, and here I can insert viewports. Okay, you can also go to the layout, and here we are having viewports. If I want to insert 4 viewports, you select the things from here to here, or one layout or multiple viewports. It's all available, possible here. 2 viewports if I want to insert. Again, it is saying horizontal or vertical. Vertical. Now it is asking the first point of the screen and second. Okay, now it has inserted 2. See here. Now this is one boundary. This is the other boundary. And you can use them in the 3D models. For example, if you have a 3D model, you can insert front view, side view, top view directly from the 3D model based on the availability. Now, in this case, I right click and set the properties. Now, this is available at a particular scale. Okay, this is the custom scale. Let me put it as 1. So now, in this drawing, I'm showing this western commode in 1:1 scale. But in the other drawing, I wanted to show it in double scale or half scale. Again, you go here and you change the scale, maybe 2 here. So this is double the scale, and you can adjust the boundary as needed and the position. Now, the same entity, in this view, I am showing as 2:1 scale. In this layout, I am showing it 1:1 scale, or like a detail view. And whatever the modification I am making to this one, the changes will reflect in both the views. For example, if I am rotating this here, okay, that is the model space, and that is having the associativity to this one. So now this is rotated here too. So like that, mostly for plotting purpose and creating 2D views, orthographic views, and giving dimensions, irrespective of the original geometry scale. For example, if you are designing a very big vehicle, that vehicle actual size is too big, but you cannot plot that original size to the drawing. That's the reason you can insert view scale at an increased or reduced scale. So that is the concept of viewports, layers, model space. Now I have one more topic I wanted to convey. That is the concept of layers. For example, if you go to the home tab, here exploring layers. So what is the concept of layers? In order to manage all these entities in your drawing, you can define infinite number of layers. For example, I am coming to this particular drawing once again. Now I'm able to see the model space. Now this I wanted to move to a different layer. For example, layer number 2. Okay, I don't want to see this one. So maybe I can set this layer. I can move it to the layer, I can set it, or in the properties palette, you can directly go and set it to layer number 2. Okay, now those entities are on layer number 2. For layer number 2, I can also apply different kinds of styles. Let's say I have changed my color, I have changed my line width or locking concept, or line type also I wanted to change to dasher lines, all the entities on that particular layer. And if I don't want to show them, I can simply switch that layer on or off. It is like plastic sheets. You can create the plastic sheets one behind the other, one behind the other, one above the other, and you can create different entities and different plastic sheets. If you remember the old overhead projector kind of stuff, if you keep one sheet, the contents drawn on the plastic sheet are only projected to the screen. And if you overlap one more plastic sheet with different entities, then both can be seen on the screen projected after projection. So like that, you can insert multiple layers. So those are the physical plastic layers which are transparent, but here these are the digital layers available inside the CAD software as the layers, and you can create infinite number of layers. And the uses of layers are also, again, if you all of you please go to our ActCAD quick start guide, which is available in your trial versions. We have clearly explained the advantages, disadvantages. It is only 148 pages, but we have explained in detail about all these options. So please use that option. And we also have the video tutorials. For example, if you type a command called tutorials, okay, because I cannot demonstrate each and everything in this session, but now if you simply type tutorials, it will launch our videos. And file menu, view menu, edit menu, draw menu, all the commands are available. So if you want to play those videos, you simply play them here. And most of the times we have the audio, and you can show them, and how the operation will be performed. It will be live demonstrated. Though it is a 2017 version of ActCAD, but most of these operations still valid. Similarly, 3D modeling options, 3D tools menu options, how to create these things, how to create layers, how to manage layers. So we have all the detailed videos available for your practice purpose. So there are so many advantages of layers. Like for plotting, you can set a particular style, and if you want to exclude this layer from plotting, now you can cross it. So whenever you are plotting, for example, I'm going back from print preview, you want this only for your representation. Now I'm going to the print and plot dialog. Okay, so here I'm selecting ActCAD PDF printer, and window I have selected these entities. And in the preview, if you see, that is not available because I have locked it on the layers. That is not available. That is, I have not permitted it on the for plotting or printing. So like that, again, you can go back and you can unlock it. You can change the line colors. Again, at a global level for all the entities in this particular layer, these changes are applicable. So like that, there are so many advantages of layers, which we have explained in our quick start guide and also in the detailed help menu. So that is the concept of layers, and you can create n number of layers without any limitations. You can name them any name you want, like doors, windows, and our 3D entities like AEC objects for the BIM elements. If you are inserting a wall, automatically wall layer will be created. If you are inserting a table, the table will go to the default layer. And always there has to be some work layer. Always there has to be some work layer which is having this check mark. That is the default layer. Whatever the entity you are creating or drawing, that will go and stay in this layer by default. If you want, you can always change and right click, and this is called properties palette, which you can always do that. Now, some of these operations, if you want to manage these things, now with the mouse wheel, if I'm rotating, zoom in and zoom out operations. Similarly, if you right click, you have so many options like real-time panning, real-time zoom. Like if you want to do it in a 3D sphere, if you want to rotate them and see, these are all planar entities, 2D planar entities. But if I want to rotate them, right now I'm not doing any 3D modeling in this, but you can directly see all of them here. And if I want to cancel and go back to my other one, view menu, 3D views, and then top view. Like, so here also under the view, you are having most of these zoom operations, dynamic zoom, previous, zoom to previous, zoom left, and most of the times we use zoom extends, Z enter and E enter. So now again, when I'm typing zoom command, it is showing multiple options here, like zoom in or zoom out or zoom all or zoom center or dynamic. And the extension, when I used E, then it has taken extends. Sorry, because that is starting with E. That is the kind of syntax and the level you can always follow throughout this one. And we also support clickable keywords. For example, when I'm typing zoom, instead of clicking that, you can also do the right. Okay, now it is asking what is the upper right corner, and do this. Okay, so whatever the value from here to here, whatever is the distance, with that much scale factor, it has scaled, zoomed my entities. Basically, it is not changing the size of the entities. The zoom and pan operations are basically enabling you to how you are able to see it, because your graphics window space is limited, because you have very small screen and you cannot see the very big drawing here. And if you want to do some operation, you can zoom in here, and REA is a command like region all. When you do it, now it is zoomed properly and you can perform your operations here. Like if I want to do a hatch inside this one, you can select and then you can click the point, enter, and do it. But right now that hatch is not visible because the entity scale is very small, right? So that is the reason the hatch entity I need to select, and then I need to increase the scale or decrease the scale. Maybe I can show it on a separate entity. Like this is the circle, I am applying hatch. Okay, now you see, because this circle is much bigger, for that particular scale it is visible, but because this diameter is very small, but that is not visible. So like that, you can select these entities and you can do that. And if you want to select such entities, you can also use this quick filter, and filter options are always available. The layer 1, layer 2, like you see here, now I'm getting the hatch. If I want to, from the tool palette, when I'm enabling that, I want to reduce it now because that was no more visible to me on the screen for selection. But when I selected like this, I'm able to see that. Okay, now I'm going to the filter option. Layer 0, this entity is available, and this maybe I will still reduce. Okay, this scale I have to change 0.1. You see, you are able to see that. So though I am unable to see the entity, but still the entity got created earlier. So now if you want to delete, you can select it and you can delete it from your drawing. So these are all the advantages of creating the zoom in, pan operations, dynamic pan, dynamic rotation, like that. And as I mentioned before, like the entity snaps, if I want to select the endpoint of this, now let us do one small activity here. Okay, this is the polar tracking. Now entity snaps, I have cleared everything. Now if I want to draw one line exactly to this one, now you see it is not allowing me to do that. So that is called entity snaps. Now I'm going back to this one. In the settings, now I am enabling, let's say, endpoint. Okay, now you see I'm able to pick the endpoints, but not the midpoint here. Okay, so here also I'm unable to meet. Either I can click that endpoint or this endpoint or this endpoint or this endpoint. So like that, based on your requirement, you can go to these snap settings and you can enable nearest, perpendicular, parallel, or quadrant. Now you see, now it is able to identify the midpoint also. So like that, you can create the snaps. The entity snaps are very useful. And object tracking, the entity tracking, e-tracking, that option is also very useful. And as I mentioned, orthographic, that is for perpendicular control. Now, if I want to draw something, this is snap to grid. So now I will be able to snap to the grid points also. You see here on the grid, if you want to draw something and that grid size, you can always adjust. Now you see I'm able to enable the snaps, like the magnetic pick points onto the snap. So that is the option here. Orthogonal on off and entity snaps. Okay, again I'm selecting, click OK, like this. Now you see, now the ortho mode also I have enabled. Now when I'm drawing here, that magnetic lines are showing me, this is called the entity tracking or object tracking. So now I know that I am drawing a perfect horizontal line. Now I am drawing a perfect perpendicular vertical line. Now you can also snap to this endpoint. Now along that line, I'm creating. So means this endpoint is lying on that straight line. So like that, these are called E-tracking or entity tracking or object tracking. E-track means entity track, O-track means object track. Some softwares call it as O-track, we call it as E-track, or the vice versa, something like that. But basically, if you want to track the entities, now I want to create a line which is inline to this one. So that is how I have enabled that snap. Now let me disable this because both are getting conflicted. Now when I disabled, now you see I'm able to get the perfect snap of that one. Okay. Now again, if I want to draw, you are able to see those green lines. These are the rubber bands. So even I am able to find the virtual intersection. So now that line is a perpendicular exact intersection of this line. Now I can complete that line. So that is called object tracking. So we will move to the next topic. So I have shown most of these basic settings, the interface, the controls, the snap settings, E-tracking, O-tracking, okay, and the snap settings, layer settings, what are layers, we have seen everything. Now quickly we will see the line. This is the standard line segment. You can create lines here, and to create lines also multiple options are there. You can go by relative coordinate system or absolute coordinate system. And the circle, as you can see, there are so many ways of constructing circles. Tan circle, using 3 points, using 2 points. They are very self-explanatory, how you want to create a circle. Similarly, arc, so many options are available. Whether you want to create a tangent arc, whether you want to create 3-point arc, okay, arc with start point, angle, and center, or arc, center, start, angle. Why these many options? Basically, mathematically, there are so many possibilities to construct arc based on the user requirement and user input. You can do that. So arc, line, and circle. But why I skipped polyline? Polyline is a combination between these two things. Now you see, now again, it is showing the options. Now if you want to draw an arc, I simply clicked on arc. I have, now the arc is being continued, right? And again, if you want, whether you want angle or center or direction, or you want to convert again to the straight line, you can do that. Again, entity track is created. Now, what is the difference between this and this? These are 3 separate lines, 3 separate entities. But now on the history also, if you see the history also, it is showing 3. But now when I'm selecting this, it is one entity. Though it is a combination of line, arc, and another line, but it is behaving like a single entity. So that is called, it is polyline. And you can always explode it. Now when I exploded, now you see it became separate entities. In the history navigator also, you can see I'm having 2 lines and 3 arcs. Polyline. So even if you take rectangle, rectangle is nothing but a polyline. And polygon, polygon is also nothing but a polyline. Now again, rectangle is nothing but it is a single polygon. Now when you exploded, it became 4 line segments. But for the sake of convenient and for the sake of drafting purposes, you can always use this one. Similarly, polygon. Polygon is also nothing but it is a entity which is nothing but polyline. Now you see whether you want multiple or single. Number of sides, how many you want? I want 8 sides, that will become octagon, and specify the center of this polygon. So inscribed circle or circumscribed circle. You can decide and you can create and you can put the point. And how? Once again, I'm telling what is the competition, what is the rationale behind these constructions. So again, I'm using the included angle of any polygon is equivalent to 360 by n. And it is a combination of all the equilateral triangles. That is what is nothing but polyline, polygon. If you are having 8 sides, 8 equilateral triangles, and the included angle of each triangle is 180 degrees, and the angle between 2 sides is n minus 360 by n. That is the standard formula. Whether we write the program or somebody else write the program, they have to abide by the same logics. And again, once you explode, even you write your own program using a Lisp program or .NET program, again, you have to go by the same mathematical fundamentals. We cannot change the geometry and the basic rules of mathematics. That is what I'm trying to show again and again. Whatever you are creating, how you are writing your code, whether it is efficient or if somebody else can write a program much more easy and much more faster and much more simpler, that makes the difference. And at the end of the day, how much you are paying for a CAD software, whether it is really, and our motto is this one only. So instead of paying huge and exorbitant costs, you pay one little fee so that every individual, every school, every student, they all can afford a CAD software and they can use it for any commercial projects, whether it is a small project or hobby project or a small business, or for internal design applications or some home modifications, or to if you want to design some cot or bed for yourself, you can use softwares like this and take the advantage of all standard blocks, symbols, and 3D models and 3D items from the internet. A lot of content is available even on the internet. So like that, we have discussed about various 2D entities. And once again, if you take any complicated drawing, it is combination of these primitive entities, the basic geometric entities like line, arc, and circle. And one more thing I wanted to cover here, these are the elliptical arcs, right? So ellipse is nothing but again the same mathematical logics, having two focal points. Circle is having one center point, but ellipse is having two focal points. Okay, so now again, this is a kind of end of the ellipse I have selected. Okay, and under the ellipse there are multiple options. Ellipse with axis and axis. So these are the, that is the major axis I have selected, and this is the minor axis I have selected. Right? And again, ellipse, axis, and then rotation. So for example, I have created, this is my ellipse, and with what rotation you have this angle. Based on the type you wanted to give, you can do this way. So this is any of your complicated drawing. Another entity, this is called the Bezier Spline, or this thing. This is called a spline. Again, it is driven by the mathematical equation. The degree of any spline, the minimum is 2 and maximum is 24. And there is no other possibility between these two values. And if you can set the value depending upon the degree of freedom, how much deviation it is taking from the vertex point, how much mathematical or Bezier deviation it is taking from that one, that is another logic. This is mostly used for free-form kind of shapes and some free-form designs. Like if you want to design some clothing, some dress you want to design inside ActCAD, maybe you can do it, and you can, as a free form, you can adjust and you can do the design. Basically, it is controlled by the vertices. And if you want to increase the number of vertices or these things, and again, this is called the properties palette. As I always mention, this is very, very important. All the properties of this entity, you will be able to see them here. Now you see the degree of this one is 3, the way I created. So it is a kind of third degree deviation it is taking from the vertices point to this one. So the maximum possibility is 24. So like that, if you need too much flexibility and deviation from that one, now you take any drawing or any complicated entity or any complicated shape, it is combination of these basic entities. So let me do one dimension also. So we will create. Okay, now this is my rectangle. Let me create a hatch. I'm focusing more on the principles and concepts of this CAD software. Now this is the hatch I'm selecting, and the scale, it is too low for me. So maybe I'm keeping it 40. That is also less. Maybe I can keep 300. Okay. That's how I created the hatch. You can change its color to different thing. Most of the things you can control from the properties palette. Whenever you are selecting a particular entity, that entity properties are highlighted in this properties palette. And if I'm selecting this, these entity properties are highlighted here, and these are called grips. And it is not highlighting the boundary because now that is associated to the rectangle. Now you see, when I moved the rectangle, that hatch got automatically moved because it is a associative hatch. Okay, now coming back to the annotation, and then I'm selecting one linear dimension from here to here. So though we call it as a dimension entity, okay, right now the text height is very small, but it already has its own arrowheads and everything, right? But now let me select this. It is a single entity. That is how the software is creating as an entity and storing it in the database. Now when I'm exploding, you see here, now this is an entity, this is another entity. These are all straight lines, and that may be a solid hatch, right? That is what you are seeing there, a solid. Similarly, if I'm selecting hatch, though it is a single entity, now if I explode, you see, it is a combination of all lines. Why I'm telling this is, any entity, whether it is a 2D drawing or mechanical drawing or dimension or hatch or most of these things, they're all combination of these primitive entities. When you are coming about 3D modeling, again, that is the combination of primitive solids, like the basic block. Those are called the primitive shapes: block, cylinder, sphere, and cone. Any geometry, it is the combination of these entities, these four primitive shapes, and you can perform some Boolean operations like uniting them. Again, in mathematics, we learn like unions, subtractions, and all the things. So the same geometric principles we apply here. If you want to join two bodies, we do the union operation. If you want to cut one solid from the other solid, that is a kind of subtract operation. If you want to find the intersection volume between two bodies, you can use the intersection options like that. So whether it is 2D or 3D, they are based on these regular basic entities and the primitive bodies. So properties palettes, tool palettes, all those things I have explained. And the print and plot dialog also, once again, I have briefly showed you. But whatever you designed, you can always use ActCAD 2020 PDF printer or your local printers or image printers. You can create anything, and all these options are similar to, if you are familiar with any other CAD software, they are very much similar to that one. And you can see the preview, you can apply the colors, you can apply these styles like as displayed or wireframe or rendered mode. You can also apply the CTB files or monochrome. Okay, icad.ctb I have applied to this one. Now if I go back, now those settings are applied to my preview. Now once this is done, you simply print. Okay, in this computer the PDF printer is not activated as of now, but you can directly print to a PDF printer. Similarly, you can also do the export. Export PDF option is also very powerful here. In the export command, you have the PDF, SVG, scalable vector graphics, BMP, Windows Metafile, EMF, DWF, stereolithography. When you are having a 3D model, if you want to send it for 3D printing, you can export it to STL file format. And the Collada web formats, MicroStation, DGN, IGS files, initial graphic exchange specifications, step format, they are mostly used for 3D. So now for the timing, I'm using PDF. Now I'm getting a detail option about how, whether you want to embed any fonts. If you have any 3D model, now you can also enable this option, that will become your 3D PDF. So even the 3D models, you can save them as a 3D PDF. That capability is there in ActCAD software. And you will be able to open them in any regular free PDF viewer like Adobe Viewer, and you can rotate them, you can view them, and you can scan them. So now I'm setting, even if you want to set any properties to your PDF file, you can do. And finally, you can save that PDF file. So export completed successfully. just want to double check what is the default path. Okay, so it is in this DWG folder. Okay, it is there in this location. Now, instead of exploring from there, I can directly open it from here. Now, this is the PDF in vectorized format it has exported. This is normal Adobe viewer. And you can apply all in the standard plot dialog, you can apply your styles, monochrome or CTB, or you can define your new styles, STB files, and the definition also either you can do as displayed. Okay, and in our PDF, multiple settings like custom settings, custom properties, custom wrapper size, multiple ways, and the DPI, we will support up to 2400 dots per inch. The very high resolution PDF also you will be able to create through ActCAD software. So this is our standard plot dialog, very much similar to other software. Now we discuss about blocks. When I mentioned in the add-ons, I have shown there are so many standard blocks we have created, more than 5,000 symbols we have created. For example, I wanted to insert some GD&T symbols. Okay, this is the cylindricity control I have inserted here. Okay, and I can use a different scale in X direction, Y direction, and Z direction. And the rotation angle also I can keep it at 45 degrees. Okay, now what do you mean by these blocks? Blocks are the standard symbols. You can copy, paste, and you can use them any number of times in the drawing. So I simply copied and I'm doing Control V, Control C, Control V. Now, what is the advantage of this block? So I used it at multiple places, but in my drawing, it is stored only in one location. I mean, in one table, this block is stored. So today, if I want to edit this block, okay, I'm doing a command, let's say double clicking this. Now I got this, either you want to edit this Western commode or this GD&T 10 symbol. I want to edit this, okay. Now I went into the edit mode. Now here, I reduced the circle diameter. Maybe this line also I moved. Okay, I'm not doing it precisely. So I made some changes to this one. And also, just for the sake of understanding, I have rotated this and kept it like this. Okay, now I'm saving this close block editing. It is asking me whether you want to save the changes or discard. I saved it. Now, when I made this change, you see the changes have reflected at all other places inside the drawing. So basically, it is referring to the same geometry from one place at all other places. So that way, even if you are having 1,000 seats in your theater, so you are not repeating that geometry, you are not duplicating that geometry at 1,000 places. So that way, your file size will be very small and very compact. Now, what about XRFs? Blocks always reside in a particular drawing file. Now, I am saving them on the desktop here. Okay, now I saved this. I am creating one more drawing. This is our new drawing, either you create from template or you create from wizard or you open from something else. Okay, I have multiple options to do this one. Now, again, to the insert menu, I am having this XREF. These are the external references. Now, I want to attach my previous drawing, that is drawing 1. Okay, as an attachment, I wanted to keep it inside this drawing. The insertion point is 0, 0. Now it is asking me what is the scale you want to insert. Scale 1, X scale 1, and rotation also I don't want. Okay, now that symbol has came and then it got inserted into this drawing. Okay, so if we are in doubt, we can go back to the XRF manager where exactly it got inserted. Now, this is the path. Maybe it became too small or too big to this drawing. Okay, I will take, instead of this, I will take a fresh drawing and I will insert this as an XRF there so that I will be able to clearly see, instead of wasting our time, attaching this, selecting this drawing. Okay. Oh, okay, everything has become XRF. So maybe I need to, because everything has become XRF, including these blocks. Okay, so sorry for that confusion. So everything, because I thought that I created drawing only for this one, but even everything, these are all the part of that particular drawing. Now, what is the advantage of this one? Now I am going back to this. I have selected. Okay, now I'm scaling up these things. Okay, from base point, scale factor 5 times. Okay, I have increased. And also I made some more changes to this thing. Okay, I changed this shape of this spline. Assume that this is my base design on which I wanted to use it as a reference. And if you come back to this one, and if you reload that one, okay, now it is giving the warning, right? So it is also showing what are all the changes happening in this one, and you can always select them and you can open them and you can update them. So now when I made the changes are already reflecting in my other drawing. So what is the advantage of this one, this extra? I can use, let us assume that you are having a mechanical drawing or a structural drawing. This is the base drawing which I want to use as reference at the 3-4 other levels, like casting level or forging level or machining level. So I can take the same drawing as reference and I can use it at multiple places. But once those changes are completed, uh, it is having reference always to the original model. So now whenever I'm making some changes to this, all my upper level drawings like forging drawing, casting drawing, everything is seeing that geometry. And most importantly, this is not saving, all this geometry is not saved inside this drawing file. We are only using it as a reference in this, so that the entire geometry, or even if it is a very big drawing, it is not going to add any size to this particular drawing. And the same geometry I can refer in multiple drawings. For example, if I'm having a engine, same engine I'm using in 3-4 vehicle models. So the same I can use it in XREFs in 5 different vehicles, and everywhere the geometry is being reflected without any uh, actual drafting. Now, if the original engine design got changed or modified, the changes will be reflected at all other places. So that is the advantages of XREFs. So I explained the uses of blocks, uses of XREFs, and finally the OLE objects. So if you want to insert any data from any external Excel sheet or something, so Microsoft Excel workbook, I can create new, okay, or create from a file. Now I'm selecting desktop. We have demo kit. Okay, I'm having some CSV data here. As a link, I can create. Okay, now it is inserted. Now, if you want to double click this one, now it is opening in the actual Excel application, and you can make a lot of changes to that Excel. And hit the save button, yes, and close. Okay. Right now, because it is only a link to that one, if I double click and it opened that Excel having all these entities. Now let me do one more thing. Instead of keeping it as a link, so the preview is not changing because it is only a preview. The previous one is only a preview. Now I came here and then doing a paste special. Okay. And the script text I have pasted here. Okay. Now this is part of your drawing now the content totally came into this one. But if you want to directly import it as an external this thing, you can directly import from that also. And we can also paste special. So I'm not finding any Excel sheet here. Maybe let me open this table data. So copying all these entities, going back to Excel, paste special. Okay, now it is showing me Microsoft Excel format itself. Okay, now you see when I did that one, directly that is embedded as Excel format. Now I'm closing this. Now you select on this border and double click. Now again this data got opened. Now I'm typing some more values and also changing some of the cell background color. Okay, and again hit this floppy button to save. Come here. Now the changes are reflected here. So what is the difference between the original one and this one? This I kept it as a link, the original one. Okay, now this I directly pasted as a text. Now it doesn't have any link to that one. Now this is having, now you see this is the OLE, object linking and embedding. Now it is part of your external and it is having the complete link to that one. The original one also is having a link, but the preview it has taken directly from that one. So this object linking and embedding you can do with any of these office objects like MS Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and also PDF files. So these are the standard functionalities like any other software available here. And apart from that, we have a lot of add-on tools like this one, like PDF to DXF converter. So I'm using this one from the demo kit. I'm having some drawing which is in PDF format. I am directly opening that PDF as my drawing. So now you see it became our own drawing. So now I'm able to select these lines. I can delete them. Okay, now this is all hatching. Okay, and this is now a line. Okay, this is line. So everything got converted into lines. Now it became your drawing. You can also have the PDF conversions, and a lot of additional options are available. And we also have some image converter. So here I'm having some, this is an image. We also have some inbuilt tool. Okay, though the quality of this image is very poor, but maybe I can go to internet. Let me grab some line drawing. Sorry for that. Okay, so here we are having some images available. Okay, these are all the line drawings having some arcs, curves drawn, which I wanted to directly import. So for the time being, I'm selecting one of these images, save this image, because I'm trying to find some quality image for my converter. Okay, now I saved that image to the desktop. Now I will go back and open, because this also I can scan, but the quality will be very poor. So now I have opened this, and here I have one-click vectorization option. That's it. Now everything got scanned. If you notice, these are the green lines which got digitally scanned onto this one. Now I have an option to save this vector in DXF format onto my desktop. Now whatever the conversion I did, that I saved onto my desktop. Now go back to ActCAD and file, open. Now changing this format to DXF and hit on desktop. Now you see all these lines now part of your ActCAD. Now these are all the entities. It is a polyline. Now you can select, you can apply colors to them. Okay, maybe you can apply yellow color, or maybe some of them you can do, or you can also explode them. You can make the changes. Now they are all part of your drawing. Now if you want to make any change to this, or if you want to delete, you can do. So like this, we have this raster to vector converter also available in the software. So like this, you are having a lot of capabilities right from basic drafting to the advanced. Even I'm not covering the 3D modeling aspects, okay, but you do have this one. Maybe if our time permits, maybe we'll conduct one more session in near future. Then I will do more options about 3D solid modeling and solids editing, facet. But again, you remember, as it is a low range CAD software, it doesn't support parameters and expressions. It is very much similar to AutoCAD. You can create all these as is 3D solid modeling, unparametric models you can do. You can modify them, you can edit them, you can delete them. You can also perform all the Boolean operations. Okay. All these options. You can apply materials to this 3D. Like that. So if I'm changing this workspace to drafting and annotation, again, you can find all of them here. Modify. Okay, so here you have the solids editing option. So again, all these options are available. 3D operations, now you are having these things. And finally, you also have the primitive operations like Boolean operations available under this, like union, subtraction and all. So now I want to stop my presentation here, and once again I want to quickly go through the contents. If I have skipped any of the important aspects, I introduced you about what is CAD and the history and the development, the three categories of CAD software, the history of DWG file format, its versions, the background, the developments, the legal battles between the two entities which can read and write DWG, and the brief history about ActCAD and the legalities behind it, and the interface, layout design, menus, the logical design of the menus and the tabs, the importance, how to easily navigate, or you can also find the quick command finder, or you can use the complete help, and the classic style interface, ribbon style interface, keyboard shortcuts, how to create the keyboard shortcuts either interactively or through CUI file. What about aliases? Aliases also you can customize, you can create new, you can modify the keyboard shortcuts, you can create your own toolbars, you can remove the existing toolbars. All such options are possible. You can also use the CUI file and CUIX file with respect to the other software. And what are all the file formats supported? I think I forgot to show you the other formats. Like in the import, we support many other formats apart from DWG and DXF, like as is solids, BIM in like IFC, Revit files, DG and MicroStation DGL files also you can open them, DXF, IGS files, object files, PDF, step in, okay, step STL import. Similarly, we have the export like ASIS files, BMP outputs, DGN output, DWF, DXF, IGS step, STL, WMF. And also I showed you about the 3D PDF, 2D PDF, okay, converting the image formats and inserting nearly 700 types of images. Even AutoCAD doesn't support those many. If you go to the insert image manager, you have hundreds and hundreds of types of images which we support. So that way we are more strong. Let's allow 2 minutes to see this. And in the meantime, I have also explained about the concept of layers and their uses, how many layers we support, infinite number, model space, layout, what are viewports, what are their uses, a brief mention about the annotative scales, and zoom, pan, ortho operations, entity snaps, object tracking. And I briefly showed you the 3D, 2D entities like line, arc, circle, ellipse, rectangles, polygons, polylines, ellipse, Okay, all those things we have covered. And I also demonstrated you about ActCAD Explorer, how it is useful to you to manipulate the entities and styles between drawings. That also I have explained. And the properties palette, whatever you are seeing here, this is called the properties palette. Left hand side, if you select any entity, all its properties you can access from here. And very soon we will be introducing CDI access also. So this image manager is taking little time. Let me quickly close the program and open it once again. I also explained about some of the add-on tools like raster to vector converter, PDF to vector converter, and I have mentioned about the tool palettes, print and plot dialogues, and what is the use of block, what are the uses of XREPs, how to use OLE licenses inside ActCAD. Now let me try once again this image manager. Earlier it was taking too much time, which it shouldn't. Now if I'm trying to attach one image, now you expand this list, you have infinite list, nearly 700 types are supported which are not supported by any other software. So you have any kind of map data or GS data or any of the tip or anything, you can directly select and you can insert them into the CAD software. And not only that, in the underlays, you can also insert the BIM underlay. You can do this like Revit files, IFC files, PDF underlay you can do, DGN underlay you can do, DWF underlay you can do, point cloud you can do, and we also support a lot of things. And we also have the geolocation feature. We have uploaded a lot of videos on YouTube and also to our own channel about all these options. So I hope you all got a brief understanding about ActCAD, its capabilities and features. Thank you very much for your time. Now I am open for any questions and queries and comments from your side. Over to you, Joe Mark.
Awesome. That was very comprehensive, Murali. Okay, so yep, I guess the first question would be, let's reiterate once more. Is it free for students?
Okay, so basically ActCAD is not a free software, but definitely to your students we can give them some license which you can use for your learning purposes. Okay, and for education purposes we can supply some licenses which are time limited.
Okay, so who should they contact?
They can always send out an email to support@actcad.com. support@actcad.com. Maybe I will put it in the chat box.
Yep.
So this is our email address. If you have a school email address or a college.edu email address, then we will send you this education license, but it is not available for any commercial use. So please drop your email from your registered educational mail to this one, mentioning your details, and we will send you the learning license.
Okay, so I am flashing it now, and it's in the comment section for our educators and students who would like to check out or implement ActCAD in the classroom. Please email support@actcad.com. Once more, Murali, let's reiterate the pricing in comparison to other CAD vendors.
Okay, so we are the most cost-effective CAD software in the world. As I
If you
mentioned,
can
we
share
have
your
two
screen as
versions.
well.
Yeah, we have two versions of our software. Like I mentioned, we have standard version as well as professional version. So briefly, I will describe my products here. We are in 89 countries. If you go to the store, the price is openly published. $199 for standard, but if you select professional, it is $299. All the licenses are perpetual and valid for lifetime. And again, we have four types of licenses: key-based license, network floating license, live license, that is internet-based license, You can open software from any computer, any location. And if you close that ActCAD there, the license will be released to the server. And we also support USB dongle license. And the shipping cost is free. The delivery is free to any country. And
Awesome.
apart from this, we also offer 30 days money back guarantee. Uh, but though we do this, the prices are very affordable, and the standard version, professional version, and based on the license type, the starting price is $199 US. And if you want to download the product also, it is very simple. You go back to our website, all the 2D features, and if you want to include everything like as-is 3D modeling, AEC objects like walls, doors, etc., and complete the as-is 3D modeling and add-on features, just $100 extra. And again, clearly mentioned perpetual license. Just fill in your brief details, and it will take you from there. And even phone number is not compulsory. You can just fill your name, email address, and you will get it immediately in your mailbox, the download link. You download, install, and activate. That's it. I mean, you simply run the software and it will work for 15 days without any limitations. And if you are a student or a learner, you send us an email on support@actcad.com. We'll send you more details.
And another question for how about if I purchased a perpetual license? How about the updates? Will I get to have the latest updates?
Correct. So
version?
Upgrade is not always free, but upgrade is very, very affordable. Like for standard version, from any version to any version, the user has to pay only $80. For professional version, they have to pay $100. For example, after 5 years, if they want to come back and upgrade, but now whatever the version you are purchasing today, that is 2022 version, that is perpetual and valid for lifetime. But in future, if they want to upgrade to 2025 version, for standard, the upgrade fee is $80, for professional, $100. And it doesn't matter any number of years, whether you want to do after 1 year, after 5 years, it is up to you. After 3 years, it is up to you. Based on the technological advancements and the DWG version changes, you can decide, and you can upgrade whenever you need. It is not like back and back this thing. And we also have the comparison between standard version and professional version, which features are available in professional, which are not available in standard. You can clearly see this comparison chart. And we also have a direct comparison with AutoCAD. What are all the major things? The most important thing what we don't support is dynamic blocks. As of now, the creation of dynamic blocks we do not support in ActCAD, because they are that concept is patented by the Autodesk company. So we cannot implement this feature, and this is the only thing which is not available as of now. But more or less all other things are available except some special features like a super hatch and all that we will be implementing very soon, those type of features also. So feel free to browse through our website actcad.com. You have complete information. You can contact us, you can submit support tickets, you can read our blog articles. Lot of information is available on this website. You can contact us.
Okay. Another one is this compatible with can I use Lumion for this to render out?
See, basically you can use any of your own rendering engine, but you need to take the output in 3D formats like STAP or IGS or DWG or DXF. You complete your 3D design here and export the model, open in your rendering software like Artisan or Lightworks or Lumion, and you can do the rendering there. Basically, you can create the 3D model here, and after that you take it in the supported format. So mostly DWG DXF step are supported in all softwares. These are the universal formats in general. But please check with your software what format it takes, and if that export format is available with us or not, you can check with us.
If AutoCAD is somewhere around almost 4 gig, what's the file size for ActCAD when you download the installer?
Okay, when you download the installer, it is about 900 MB for standard, about 1.2 GB for professional. Okay, and install also will be more or less same size.
Awesome. And I guess this is the last question. This is always asked. Minimum system requirements
Okay,
to
so
get
the
things
minimum
going.
system. Okay, understood the question. Sorry to interrupt you. We have mentioned at the bottom of each and every page of our website. It will work on Windows Vista and above. Windows Vista 7, 8, 8.1, 10, 11 Windows. 2 gigahertz and above operating system is needed. And our latest version works only on 64-bit. But if you need 32-bit, then you have to use our old version like ActCAD 2020 version. And RAM 3 GB or above. Disk space at least 5 GB. And graphics card is not compulsory. But if you have any graphics, either onboard or dedicated graphics, the drivers to be up to date, either motherboard drivers or graphic board drivers. Always keep them up to date to get the best performance out of this software. So
Awesome.
any normal PC,
Very
any normal laptop can be used to run ActCAD, even for high-end projects.
Any upcoming plans on taking this in the cloud?
No, actually, we support this software not only on Windows, but users can use it in other platform like Mac also through some third-party plugins like if it is Linux like Wine plugin, and there are some tools available. Okay, but Windows operating system is required even on Mac to run ActCAD software. But we don't have any plan to host it on the cloud. But we do have some options. We have hosted this on some cloud platform, but that is pay per hour basis. If some customers want to use this software only for few hours, they can go to our website. They can contact us, Infinite Compute. We have one portal. They can go there, they can log in, and they can use this software on the cloud. But that is not a perpetual license. That is pay per hour basis they can use. In case of any urgent projects or short-term uses, that option also we offer.
Our friends in ActCAD is giving away 3 months license. All you have to do once more is email support at actcad.com. Probably I am suggesting the subject for the email to be BIM Philippines with ActCAD.
Yes.
For them to quickly filter that out. Okay. So once more, thank you so much, Morali. Please connect as well to Morali in LinkedIn if you have further questions. But I guess support at ActCAD is also the thing to go. Please confirm, Morali.
Yes. So they can connect to our ActCAD LinkedIn channel from our website. It is connected, and they can connect to me or the ActCAD channel directly. Yeah, at the bottom we have a link, ActCAD, yes. In our website also, we have a LinkedIn link at the bottom of every page. You can connect to us on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube. Thank you very much for all your time, and thank you very much, BIM Philippines, for giving us this opportunity and for hosting our program. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So, yep, looking forward to see everyone's design posted in our social media communities. Yeah, using ActCAD. Thank you so much, Morali. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.